What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, check this. Boxer Julio Caesar Chavez Jr. arrested by ICE to be deported. Mexican boxer Julio Caesar Chavez Jr. has been arrested for entering U.S. illegally and will be deported to Mexico, where he faces organized crime charges, federal officials said Thursday. Okay, so this was today I saw this. Well, you know what? He just lost a fight to Jake Paul. And basically, he has a bigger fight than any opponent he could fight in the ring. And pretty much this article, and you'll see on the thumbnail that he's accused of having, cartel ties. So, you never know what a person is going through in life, what they're doing, where their head is. This is a situation where, now don't get me wrong, if you're guilty of something, then you're guilty. This is news we're hearing, so I'm just going by the news. And when I see this, it's like, wow. Not shocking, because I'm not shocked about anything that I hear or see. But it's just like, when these type of allegations come up, I'll tell you something, especially in this day and time, people feel more and more confident that they can get away with anything. You saw what happened with the Diddy trial. I wasn't sitting there watching it, but I was hearing bits and pieces of news, and the main things that he was accused of, he was found innocent of. Funny thing is, the day before, they were at a stalemate. They couldn't get a unanimous, okay, all 12 say yes, he's guilty. No. It was, they're back and forth with it. Then all of a sudden, he's found innocent. Now, for the crimes that he was charged for, see, this is what happens with people. Now, I don't know if he's going to change his ways or not, but most of these arrogant folks, once they get to that point where they beat a charge or charges, they might sit here and play the humble role the first interview they have, but they go right back into that arrogant shit. I can survive anything now. Now, as far as money goes, I'm not into somebody else's bankroll and all that. I don't care about that. But just a note, remember when he first got arrested, he offered the catalog to Biggie Smalls' music, the mansion that he bought his mom, and they turned all of that down, plus $48 million, right? So he'll be okay financially, and he still, owns property that's worth a lot, you see. So he'll still have money. But my thing is, when it comes to crimes, now people will lie and make things up on you. But at the same time, even when you're innocent of something, but you partook in something that was sick, like anybody out there, if you have a daughter and some guy is telling your daughter, hey man, I want you to partake in, sex acts with other men and women and all types of stuff. I get off on this kind of stuff. And, hey, I'm having a basketball game in my house, but the thing is, all the fellas, we all got to be naked playing bad. All this silly shit, goofy stuff that people do. We are in a society now where people are going, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being fake? They show you that no matter what a person is doing, no matter how wrong it is, somehow they have the right to do it. So I look at all of this stuff, and I'm not shocked by any of it. I look at Julio Caesar Chavez Jr. situation. This just came out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. So if he's part of some cartel, if he's part of some illegal shit, yeah, then they should deport his ass back to Mexico, and whatever happens, happens. And they're saying he's facing charges back there. So he's not going to just be deported and all of a sudden, okay, you were kicked out of the U.S., now you have a nice life here in Mexico. I'll tell you this, and I'll say this, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We are all human beings. Anthony Joshua, Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, Mike Tyson, whoever the fuck you are, Beyonce, Jay-Z, I don't care who you are, okay? Uh, Nobody is exempt from human error, and I don't look at nobody like, oh, that's such as I don't care who you are to anybody because you think you a celebrity, you're something special. I don't care about any of that. You're just a human being. Problem with most people is they don't care. I'm not popular to the world. So if I was accused of things like that, people would be going, I know that nigga did it. Yeah, I bet you that nigga did it. Nah, they wouldn't care. But if I'm some celebrity, well, yeah, you're going to have people laughing and pointing the finger and making fun. Even if I'm innocent, they want to believe what's negative. But when the facts are there and people are still going, free that dude, Aries, man, free. Because what world do we live in? It reminds me of that joke Dave Chappelle said. Remember when he was talking about the Michael Jackson allegations? And he was like, I mean, if your little kid was molested by Mike, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no big deal. Then he made a joke saying how, like, it's a privilege for your kid to be able to say, I was molested by Michael Jackson. I'm just like, wow. People are laughing at that joke, but this is exactly how people really feel in life. You have a lot of people that feel that way. Now, when they feel like they can get some money out of you, oh, they'll turn on you. Absolutely. Michael Jackson went to his grave just to have people come out and say, the parents of those kids that admitted that they told their kids to say those things, that Michael Jackson never did those things. And all of the people from Cat Williams on down that verbally buried Michael Jackson never apologized to his family. Nothing. Just fuck it. So what? I said it. I don't care that I was wrong. This is the world we live in, man. So if anybody out there is looking at Julio Caesar Chavez Jr. like because he's the son of a legend, like, oh, give a nigga a chance. So why? I haven't heard anybody talking about it, but I did see this shit, and I said, wow. When you see things like that, and you have remorse or sympathy for somebody because they're famous or they have a famous family, a famous mother or dad or whatever, you gotta look at yourself. You gotta look at yourself, man. I mean, this is not a time right now where we really can afford to play around with our lives. I don't think is there ever a time where you should play around with your life. But I mean, what I'm saying now is people are losing their lives over the pettiest things, over the stupidest things. People are losing their freedom over the stupidest things. Well, the one difference with this guy, you haven't heard him speaking about anything like that. You haven't heard him making any conversations about, being a part of some cartel or, doing any illegal activity or whatever. But, now that the cat's out the bag about what he's dealing with, I mean, what happens, man. I'm gonna tell you right now though, if you are innocent and you go through something like this, it's unfortunate. Just like no different from Reuben Hurricane Carter, who went to prison for something that he didn't even do. Him and his buddy wouldn't lie on him like the cops wanted him to, and they both did time. Years out their lives. Years. Just to end up, you go to jail for a couple of decades of your life just to be found innocent of a crime that you was convicted of 2-3 decades ago. And then you come home after all that time, but they throw you a little bit of money, and then that's supposed to make anything better. Man, Muhammad Ali and Reuben Carter was real good friends. I remember I was watching some years ago too, man. I was watching some video. It was Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton. It was on a talk show. It might have been Johnny Carson's show. If I think it was Johnny. But they were doing weigh-ins and, they were talking about the fight, how they prepped for the fight and everything. And I remember Muhammad Ali had said, basically he was saying, free Reuben Hurricane Carter, he's a good friend of mine. And, things like that. And, when you know these type of stories that there's times people are innocent, but they look guilty because of the news that you hear, people quick to make those judgments. Now, I don't know. But one thing about ICE, they're snatching up little kids off of school buses, snatching them off the corner, waiting for school buses. snatching them out the car in the driveway. I mean, they're doing this to everybody, and they do it so cold. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, ICE is the perfect term for them, huh? But that pretty much. I know what the abbreviation is, but I'm just saying, like, yeah. And they come snatching people up. They're snatching people that's legal. They're just snatching people like a bunch of trained dogs. I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing it. They don't even care. The system don't care about right and wrong. The citizens don't care about right and wrong until something happens to them. But this dude, man, for what he's accused of, I guess there'll be more news to follow up about the situation, because as of now, this is all I know. The article didn't say much other than what that says right there. There's accusations, so we don't know any details. So it's not much for me to say directly about his situation right now. But I'll tell you what, when I do get more information, I guess I'll speak on it. And this is what I keep telling you guys, man. You guys keep putting these fighters and these celebrities on pedestals like they can do no wrong. And a lot of them are scumbags. Probably most of them scumbags. And I've met a lot of people, famous people, scumbags. It is what it is, man. And this is why I don't fuck with a lot of people, because like I'll hurt somebody for real. I'm not like you that will sit there wanting autographs and take sarcasm like I seen. I remember Will Smith kind of bitch slapped the guy. When I say bitch slap, I mean he slapped him like a bitch. He just touched his face. You guys might remember. It almost looked like, oh, not on camera. You remember some years ago, Will Smith was being interviewed, and this guy walks up. I think he worked for the place. He was a valet or something like that. And he was so happy to meet Will Smith, and he walked up and kissed Will Smith, and Will Smith gave him a little love tap on his face. And they had spoke to that guy. A couple of months later, somebody interviewed him about and he's like, oh my God, I was slapped by Will Smith. Oh man, I'm never going to wash my face again. Like, wow. That's the type of what I'm telling you. This is the type of idol worship that people do, man. You're proud to say you got slapped in the face by another man, by anybody, but by another man on top of that. It's like talking to people now, man. Fake is the new cool thing. And it's always been around. But it's like now it's just cool to be fake. Most people was on the DL about it. Now it's like, let's just openly be fake. Men walking around calling themselves simps. Women arguing with their men, calling their men bitches, and they pegging their dudes in the ass with shit and bending their dudes over and doing all types of weird shit to their dudes, and these are supposed to be men. You wonder why boxing has a shortage of men, right? You wonder why masculinity is a thing of the past. You wonder. So, I mean, let's be real. This is a fucked up time we live in, man. And this guy right here, though, yeah, man, just saying. I don't know what his daddy's into, but one thing you got to remember about celebrity families. Now, not so much them being celebrities, because, boxing fans know who Chavez is, real boxing fans, and, you've been around long enough, you know who he is, but a lot of times, all it takes is one person in the family to end up in a fucked up situation. And then all of a sudden, the famous one ends up somehow connected to this shit. Well, he wasn't a part of it, but he knew about it, so he was an accomplice. All types of shit start coming out. Then it's like, wow. Before you know it, what started with one ends up with 3, 4, 5, all in cahoots about something. And, whatever's going on is going on, man. Hopefully for his dad, he's not involved in this kind of shit either, man. But just saying, y'all. I don't know. Stay tuned. We'll see what's going on with Julio Caesar Chavez Jr. That's all I got for y'all right now. Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.